Anfield, English football's two most successful clubs, their new generation seeking to recapture former glories.
The Premier League's first American manager takes charge of Swansea, and initiations don't come much tougher than Arsenal away.
And an all-Italian clash at the Bridge. Conte and Ranieri must get the last two champions to live up to their billing.
The eyes of the world cast upon Anfield. The fixture that roars, that growls, that grates, that innovates perhaps more than any other. No fixture stirs the emotions in quite the same way.
It's a headline act without compare. The most successful clubs in English football in a derby that's been a proving ground for the very best. Between them, 8 times European champions, 38 times title winners. Liverpool against Manchester United.
Cantona is back! Steven Gerrard! On this of all days!
Manchester United back in business.
Torres scores at the top end. Rooney! Manchester United's talisman.
Fowler produces an explosive finish.
So many names that will be lauded forever at the Stretford end or on the Kop have distinguished themselves in this derby. Score in this fixture and you'll never be forgotten. For a Liverpool or Manchester United player, there can be no better feeling. And now the new generation want to claim their share of the glory. Players on both teams will need to rise to the occasion.
We cannot ignore we should not ignore the special circumstance of a game like this. You have to be ready. You need to be really emotional but cool. You need to be really direct but patient. We need everybody with a Liverpool shirt in this game. And yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting.
Liverpool head into the landmark fixture brimming with confidence, having scored more goals than any other Premier League side in 2016. And a late winner against Swansea means they've taken 13 points from the last 15. It's a year this weekend since Jurgen Klopp first took charge, and the enthusiasm sparked by his charismatic character is now being backed by results. The German may have proclaimed himself the normal one, but there's something extraordinary about Liverpool's style. Relentless attacking energy which can outweigh their fragility in defence. There's even tentative title talk on Merseyside. Nothing has been normal about Klopp's galvanising effect on a club which appears to be making considerable progress.
I really, and I said it a few times, but I'm really happy with our possibilities what we have here. So and we did what we did because we thought it's the right way, and for us. And if other teams have another strategy or another idea, then they have to do what they think is right. That's all.
So Jose Mourinho must spoil the mood. Manchester United's form has been patchy. Their frustration obvious in a home draw against strugglers Stoke when so much more was expected. The Portuguese has outwitted Klopp in just one of their 5 previous managerial meetings. But derby day should be different to the average encounter. The perfect motivation to improve on a run of 1 league win in 4 and delight a manager looking forward to the prospect.
I like to go there. I like the atmosphere. I like normally the characteristics of the matches. So being Man United's a manager obviously means something more.
United's record in these fixtures should at least give them cause for optimism. Of the past 10 league meetings, Liverpool have won just 2. There couldn't be a better time for Mourinho's big hitters to demonstrate their worth. And one in particular may feel he has a point to prove after being dropped to the bench by club and country. The pressure's on, though Jose's keen to keep a sense of perspective.
The season for me is not about Anfield match and Old Trafford match in January, I think. The season is about many matches, many points to win, many points to lose. and targets to achieve.
3 points in front of their opponents, this is Liverpool's chance to stretch away. But United have the star power to upset Anfield in an atmosphere that promises to be more raucous than ever with the stadium newly expanded. Boasting players of the highest calibre and 2 box office bosses, one thing's for certain. Come kick-off time in this legendary derby, all eyes will be on Merseyside.
Grey days in South Wales. Swansea have been suffering. 6 league games without a win, and finally the storm burst. Francesco Guidolin, the first Premier League manager sacked this season.
It's been coming, it's been slammed home. 3-1 to Manchester City.
And what does that do to Francesco Guidolin's job prospects?
Very difficult list of fixtures at the start of the season. A team that has had a little bit of bad luck. We've got to find a way to restore some confidence.
From across the Atlantic, a replacement. Bob Bradley, the league's first American manager. Swansea City was taken over earlier this year by a US consortium, and the group have turned stateside to get their man.
No matter what your name is, if you come to the Premier League, you still have to earn respect.
He has good credentials. During 5 successful years as national team manager, he led the United States to the knockout stage of the World Cup. He's also managed Egypt and has club experience too in Norway and France. A long road around the globe for the New Jersey native. In South Wales, he'll have more optimism than the league position might suggest. Swansea put in promising performances against Chelsea, Manchester City and Liverpool. Results might have eluded them, but there's hope.
I don't think I've said one thing that they don't know. But I do think that in some cases it's reinforcement. And I think in some cases maybe they would say, yes, but we've not talked about that lately, or we've gotten away from that. So those kind of conversations are important just to make sure that we're all on the same page as we go on the field every day.
Arsenal away, and the Premier League's longest-serving manager, Arsene Wenger, somewhat exotic on his arrival 20 years ago, welcomes this newest member of the division's coaching fraternity.
I think Bob Bradley has a big experience. He's not a beginner, you know. He has travelled a lot. He's coming now to England, what is certainly for him a fantastic opportunity. It's as well good for the Premier League, because the Premier League is taking off in the States. And certainly to have an American will create even more interest for the Premier League in the States. So I believe overall he's equipped to deal with what is requested from him.
Wenger's men have done all he's requested, winning their last 5, heralding a newfound belief. The internationals, though, risk stalling their momentum. 8 first-team players featured in games for their countries. What's more, the Gunners have some bad memories of the Welsh club's trips to the capital.
I'm very cautious, you know, and we had last year a very negative experience with Swansea that killed basically our opportunity to win the championship last year, and we have a good opportunity as well to show that you have learned from that.
Not just last season, Swansea have won 3 and drawn 1 of their last 4 visits. Wenger expressed bonhomie towards Bradley in his pre-match press conference, but post-match he'll want to be praising his players, not the opposition boss. After losing at Tottenham, Manchester City's lead over unbeaten Spurs is just a point. Arsenal and Liverpool close behind, with Everton an impressive 5th. Sunderland prop up the table, still with only 2 points. Stoke and West Ham make up the bottom 3, with Bradley's new charges above on goal difference alone.
After a relatively low-key start to the season, suddenly everyone seems to be talking about Tottenham. The reason? A stunning demolition of title favourites Manchester City. Manager Mauricio Pochettino's side produced an outstanding display of intense pressing football that suggested early predictions this is City's trophy to lose could well be wide of the mark. Up to 9th and unbeaten in 3, West Brom seem to have put their concerns about a poor transfer window well behind them. In fact, it's Tony Pulis's club record signing from Spurs, Nasser Chadli, who's brought the Baggies to life. The Belgian's been involved in 5 of his side's last 6 goals, scoring 3 and setting up 2, and will surely relish the chance to shine again against his former club.
Alan Pardew's plans seem to be panning out for Crystal Palace. They're 8th, just 2 points behind Chelsea. Unbeaten in 5 with 3 wins. Why not smile? Christian Benteke, who scored the fastest goal in World Cup history on Monday, earned the latest point with an equaliser at Goodison. The new recruits have added impetus to the Eagles. Winger Andros Townsend has blossomed since his move south from Newcastle United. Another summer signing making an impact is defender James Tompkins. For Tompkins' old club, West Ham, well, the news isn't quite so good. They've earned just 1 point from their last 5 matches. The not-so-happy Hammers are in the bottom 3. They haven't made such a poor start in the top flight since 1988, and that season they were relegated. The East London club do have talent in their ranks. Dimitri Payet, for example. His virtuoso goal secured the draw against Middlesbrough last time out, but a string of results rather than flashes of brilliance are required by Slaven Bilic.
Bournemouth have as many points on the board as they had at this time last year when, of course, they achieved their target of survival. While they're perhaps still waiting to see the very best of their celebrated loanee Jack Wilshere, Eddie Howe has strikers Callum Wilson and Joshua King fit and firing, both on the scoresheet against Watford last time out. So it seems the manager has every reason to be optimistic about the prospects of a successful second Premier League campaign. Next up, it's a visit from Hull City, who've appointed Mike Phelan as head coach until the end of the season. Some much-needed stability with the long-term ownership of the club still to be decided. The Tigers have taken just 1 point in 5 games from a tough run that included defeats to Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea. But Phelan's looking forward to his first permanent post as the man in charge.
I think any manager, stroke coach, stroke anyone wants to know his job description. I just wanted to make sure that was clear. And as far as I'm aware now, going forward, I'm in charge of all football matters, the players, the football side of things, recruitment, all that type of thing. So it's a nice feeling to know that what your job is.
Still to come, 2 graduates of the Barcelona school pit their wits against each other as Manchester City try to reassert themselves at home to Everton.
West London or Little Italy. At Stamford Bridge there'll be even more than the usual Latin influence when the reigning champions rock up. Chelsea's charismatic Antonio Conte faces Leicester's convivial Claudio Ranieri. The live wire from Lecce against the more reserved Roman tactician. Different touchline demeanours, but matching challenges. The league's 2 most recent winners in underwhelming positions. Fellow countrymen and mutual admiration.
Conte is working very, very well and hard. It's not easy to change the player philosophy, no? They was used to make some training session. Conte changed everything, and then it's important now the players follow him.
For me, he's a good manager, he's a good man, and I have a good relationship with him, and always it's a pleasure for me to talk with him. He's very nice, and he's a good man, and above all, a good manager.
After successive painful defeats, Chelsea bounced back with a routine win at Hull. Conte had been furious with his side for conceding 5 goals in the losses to Liverpool and Arsenal. He reverted to his favoured 3-5-2 formation. The tactical switch paid off, a clean sheet. The manager says the system depends on the opposition. The priority is to gain confidence. A boost perhaps in that Chelsea have beaten Leicester in the League Cup this season.
It was necessary to find a new solution because it's not right that a great team like Chelsea conceded so many goals in every games. And I think now we are working, for me, in a right way with a good idea that can assault all the players in this sport.
Leicester have 8 points after 7 games, 2 wins. It's the same record as Chelsea had at this point in their own title defence last season. Defending a crown is seldom easy, particularly for unexpected champions. Last term, the Foxes sprung surprises on their league opponents. Now they're a known force, especially on the road. Leicester have lost all their away matches.
It's difficult to explain, but if we lost 3 matches, now we finish, I hope. It's difficult to say why. In the first match, we were unlucky because we created chances, but all won the match. The other 2 matches we deserved to lose. Liverpool and Manchester were better than us.
One big loss for Leicester, the sale of N'Golo Kante to Chelsea. The French midfielder's dynamism sorely missed. But his departure helped raise funds for summer acquisitions, like record signing Islam Slimani. The £25.5 million striker has scored 3 goals, complementing Riyad Mahrez and Jamie Vardy.
He made a very good season in Portugal. Now he's intelligent, he's experienced, and now he had to understand the Premier League, and then he could improve more and more. There is a very good link between the 3, and I think this is the strength of our future.
Ranieri is facing his former club in the Premier League for the 3rd time. So far he's unbeaten. But there's a 3rd different Blues boss in the dugout. So salve to Conte after saying ciao to Mourinho and arrivederci to Hiddink.
Middlesbrough's bright start to the season soon fizzled out. Aitor Karanka's side have picked up just 1 point from the last 12 available, a draw which came on their travels at West Ham. And history suggests this weekend they have their hands full again when Watford arrive at the Riverside, a team Borough haven't beaten in the league in the last 5 attempts.
Everyone knows they're really strong up top, 2 good centre forwards, and they're quite a direct side. They get the ball up to Deeney and Igalo plays off them, and it's a little bit more of a direct game. It's been effective for them in the last couple of years, and we'll have a game plan to obviously try and stop that and get goals for ourselves, so we'll be looking forward to it.
Watford showed great resilience in snatching a draw against Bournemouth in their final game before the international break. Record signing Isaac Success secured the point with his first goal in English football after coming off the bench. But it's one of their established stars seeking to reach a milestone on Sunday. Troy Deeney needs 1 more goal to make it 100 in all competitions for the club.
It's good to be by the seaside. Certainly that's the case for Southampton. The South Coast club are unbeaten in 8 Premier League home games. That run is largely down to their ability to find the back of the net at St Mary's. They've scored in 13 straight home games, an active streak better than any other club. Charlie Austin is the Saints' top scorer, and the former Burnley striker's confident Southampton have put a shaky start behind them.
We was downbeat, the club was, but then when we got that first win against Sparta, we knew that's clicked now. Then we need to get the win in the Premier League, and then that come 3 days later. Then look, we've gone on a great run in the last 6 games. We know the formation works, and look, we've got big games coming up, but hopefully we can continue the run we've just been on.
His former boss at Turf Moor, Sean Dyche, knows from experience how hard it is to keep a team in the top flight. This Burnley side can compete at this level, as the victories over Liverpool and Watford suggest, but both wins came at home. Away, it's a different matter entirely. They've lost 10 of their last 15 Premier League matches on the road, a trend that needs to change if Dyche is to keep the Clarets in this division.
With 7 games gone, Stoke are still winless and in the unfamiliar depths of the relegation zone. But it's not all doom and gloom for Mark Hughes' men. A 1-1 draw at Old Trafford hinted at better times to come. Hughes knows his team must break that winning duck sooner rather than later. And a home game against the league's bottom club would appear to be the perfect place for the Potters to start.
Of course, your confidence will be a little bit lower if every week if you don't win. But play away in Old Trafford and you have a draw. And the way how, because we had also some big opportunities, and that gives you more confidence.
It's another season, another struggle for Sunderland. 2 points from their first 7 matches is the same as last year. To add to the misery, David Moyes must contend with the league's longest injury list, including 9 first-teamers, the latest casualties Jan Kirchhoff and Jason Denayer. Moyes has already used 25 players this season, more than any other Premier League manager.
Dream time in Manchester. With the team's pitch-perfect start and Pep Guardiola's impeccable reputation, City looked untouchable.
So back for Raheem Sterling. Clinical City. Aguero again, sharp as the sharpest tack. De Bruyne has nicked it. And De Bruyne scores with the calmness of an assassin. First blood, Guardiola.
Nice take by Aguero. Manchester City look for a perfect 10.
But this is the most competitive league in the world. Even a genius, even a squad of superstars can't escape unscathed.
Rose with the cross and scratched into his own goal by Kolarov. Manchester City have a game to chase here. Dele Alli, 2-0 Tottenham. A goal beautiful in its intricacy of passing. Manchester City dip beneath perfection for the first time.
In an imperfect world, adversity is inevitable. Guardiola's not immune to defeat, yet the frustration tells, and that provides part of the impetus. Like steel forged in fire, this loss might yet make Manchester City even stronger. Watch out, Everton.
The best way to approach for the next one is win. Ronald played with 5 in the first game against Tottenham. Last game I played 4-4-2 in Diamond, sometimes 4-2-3-1. So I don't know what Ronald going to do against us. So we just to prepare and try to make our game.
More than 10 of City's first-team players have been on international duty. A country's demands can be a club's disappointment. Injuries always a risk. But Pep's prayers were answered. Sergio Aguero and Raheem Sterling, who missed the England games with a slight calf strain, were both involved in training this week, as was the influential Kevin De Bruyne, following a speedy recovery from a hamstring injury.
They train in the last 2-3 days. They train. But I don't know if they are in for 90 minutes. I don't know. We'll have to think about it this afternoon, tomorrow morning.
Getting back on track's the mantra too for opposing manager Ronald Koeman. Everton's home draw with Crystal Palace a blow. Romelu Lukaku struck his 5th goal in 4 outings, but it was swiftly cancelled out by another Belgian, Christian Benteke. After a run of 4 league victories, Koeman's Everton are now winless in their last 3 in all competitions.
We need to improve in the way how we like to play, how we like to press. I think we need time for that, but it's going well at the moment. But in football, always about results, and the start is okay, but we know our program for the next couple of weeks, and we will see.
We will indeed. Everton had a tough test against Spurs on the opening day, but since then it hasn't been the hardest run of fixtures. All change from here on in. After City, Koeman has to plan for Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal and Liverpool before Christmas.
I think that we'll be tested heavily against the big teams. This is a chance now for Koeman to measure himself against Guardiola, because he believes he's in that sort of category. I can assure you he's a very self-confident man. Everton, if they are going to challenge top 4, will feel that that's the type of game to go away and at least get something from it, even if it's just a point.
This managerial matchup will be intriguing. Koeman took Guardiola under his wing during their time together as players at Barcelona. The two were roommates and close friends. That relationship will be put on ice as the touchline battle commences. The 2 most recent champions launched the weekend's action. Later, Bob Bradley's Swansea are at Arsenal, while the league leaders will be looking to get back to winning ways against Everton. The late game on Saturday is the London derby at Palace. 2 matches on Sunday, but this round reaches its climax on Monday night as the Reds of Liverpool and Manchester meet at Anfield.
All set then for a clash rich in history, a fixture that can create heroes or cement a player's place in the folklore of these 2 illustrious clubs. A derby that's always fiercely fought and never less than enthralling is beautifully poised to live up to some classics of the past, with Manchester United chasing hard and desperate to break Liverpool's growing momentum. A match not to be missed, and the world will be watching. Enjoy the weekend. From Izzy Clark and me, Dave Beckett, goodbye.